Well, basketball fans, it seems awfully strange to be broadcasting games without you here. And believe you me, we surely miss seeing your faces here at Marcus Pavilion in person. But you know what? Despite this being what might be a very abbreviated season, it absolutely remains a season that we are so appreciative of and so very, very thankful for. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to game number 2 of this 2-day homestand of St. Martin's women's basketball. As always, alongside Saints Director of Athletic Communications, Austin Burns. I'm Jeff Lucero, happy to and thankful to be here with you for the 4th live broadcast of an abbreviated 2021 Saints basketball season from Marcus Pavilion today. Well, just as they did last night, the Saints welcome a relatively unfamiliar opponent from just up north a piece to the Twin Star Parquet today, the Northwest University Eagles. We'd, of course, like to welcome in any Eagles fans tuning in with us this afternoon. As always, it is great to have you along for the broadcast as well. We'll talk matchup shortly, but first let's chat about last night's game. And, well, what an impressive performance it was by this Saints squad as they showed absolutely no signs of rust after an extended break brought on by the postponement of their game scheduled against Northwest Nazarene just last weekend. In their first game action in about 2 weeks, the Saints were very fresh and raring to go from the jump last night, racing out to a double-digit lead by the end of the first quarter. In fact, Claire Dingus, the Saints' stellar 6-foot junior, nearly outscored the Eagles all by herself, finishing with 14 points and 7 rebounds just in the first period alone. Well, after Dingus set the pace in that first frame, her teammates kind of took it from there. In the second quarter, it was Maren Budemann's turn to nearly outscore the Eagles. She was absolutely flowing from deep, hitting 4 threes in the frame, the last of which coming just before halftime, staking the Saints to a 54-31 lead at the break. After a very balanced scoring attack in the third quarter, everyone sat back and watched the Ryan Clear show in the fourth. She saved her best for last, scoring a dozen of her own, and dig this, she did outscore the Eagles in the final quarter, 12-11. In all, 5 Saints finished the night scoring in double figures, including those 3. Again, Claire Dingus, Maren Budemann, and Ryan Clear, who did it in the first, second, and fourth quarters, respectively, all by themselves. And so many other things jump out about last night's game from a team perspective. Look at these numbers from yesterday's performance. The Saints shot 59% in the first quarter and 71% in the second. They cooled off to 47% for the third. I say cooled off very much tongue-in-cheek, because that's still a very respectable number, before closing the game, shooting 54% in the fourth quarter. Overall, the Saints shot 58% from the floor, a lights-out 48% from 3, 75% at the foul line. They were plus 10 on the glass, out-rebounding the Eagles 40-30. They did a great job of sharing the ball, handing out 23 assists on 34 made baskets. Let's now bring in Austin Burns to the broadcast. After all, Austin was running the show on his own last night. Unlike me, he got to see this game in person. Austin, the team played great last night. They never trailed, and they shot the absolute lights out, scoring nearly 30 points more than their season average coming in. The Saints played at a different level last night. What else did you see during the game that head coach Christy Martin should feel good about as her squad comes down the stretch for the rest of the season?
Absolutely, Jeff. They should feel good. 94 points is great, but that's not the thing that stood out to me. It was the defense. Christy Martin went with a new lineup last night, and I love the defense that they came out. A pressure defense on inbounds, off made free throws. It really gave Northwest a lot of trouble, and it's something that I like the Saints doing more, because you have a lot of athleticism. You have a lot of length on the floor. Use that to your advantage. And I think Christy Martin and her staff did a great job prepping this team to get ready to come out with a fire lit under them. There was no take 5 minutes because maybe it's an NAI opponent. There was none of that thought last night. They wanted to go out and compete right away, and they did. They took care of business, and you know, that's what I'm going to be watching for tonight. You know, 40-point win is great. It's 0-0 on the scoreboard right now. And so you're going to have to come out with that same intensity as you had last night. The Saints did a great job, but the job is not over this weekend.
We will take a break here on the St. Martin's Women's Basketball Pregame Show. Once we return, we will take a look at today's opponent for the Saints and discuss what types of adjustments Eagles head coach Ken Crawford might need to make today to give his squad a chance. You're dialed in for the Saints Women's Basketball Pregame Show on the St. Martin's Digital Network.
Every time a student learns something new, makes a discovery, or helps a team, it's not just good for that student, it's good for the whole community. At St. Martin's University, we know the impact a well-prepared graduate can have on the world. That's why last year, we extended more than $15 million in scholarships to our students. Because the more we invest in them, the brighter the future becomes for all of us.
And welcome back in for the St. Martin's Women's Basketball pregame show. And it's time for a quick look at the Saints' opponent this afternoon. Again, it's the Northwest University Eagles hailing from Kirkland. The Eagles compete in the NAIA Division II Cascade Collegiate Conference, which is, of course, also home to the Gooey Ducks of the Evergreen State College right across town down here in the South Sound. Northwest came into this two-game showdown having played just one previous game, also against a GNAC foe in Seattle Pacific. Last night's loss to the Saints brings their record in 2021 to 0-2, but certainly it's great to see them out here competing, and we're very appreciative of the fact that they're moving forward with a limited schedule of their own as well. Probably their best player, of course, that's Sam Van Loo, a 6'2 junior from Linden. She was the only Eagles player in double figures in scoring last night, finishing with 15 points to go along with a team-high 6 rebounds. This after scoring 22 points in the opening loss to Seattle Pacific. One player Eagles coach Ken Crawford would really like to see get it going tonight. That's Andy Christenot. The 5'7 senior had it flowing against the Falcons a week and a half ago, nailing 6 threes to account for all 18 of her points. But check this out. The Saints held her without a single point in last night's game. In limited action on the floor, she missed both of her shot attempts. In fact, all 12 shots that she's put up in the Eagles' first 2 games this season have all been from beyond the three-point arc. So, sure, it's a small sample size. The Eagles have played just 2 games, and they've lost them by a combined 70 points. But you know what? There's talent here. And the Saints very much need to be careful not to take this team lightly today, especially coming off last night's blistering win. Austin, what did you see in this team in action last night? You saw this team in action last night. What do you think they need to do to keep this game from getting away from them the way last night's game did?
Again, I think it was Saints came out with a different look, that pressure defense right off the bat. It really got into their rhythm. It wouldn't allow them to set up, and Northwest loves to get the ball down low. They have some great scorers down low. They want to try and set that play up, and they just weren't able to get into that rhythm. So, how do they adjust with that defensive pressure that you know you're going to see for a full 40 again here tonight? Grace Hammond hit a couple threes, and I really felt like that started to stretch the Saints back out because the Saints were really collapsing defensively down low because you knew where the ball was going, it felt like at times. So, some more outside shots from Northwest that kind of not consistently have to be, from the three-point, but at least make the Saints come out more, open up space down low for your bigs. They had a lot of great inside passing, high assist to basket ratio. They had a lot of good things going for them. For me personally, it's how do you handle that pressure at the beginning and get into your offense?
One kind of strange statistical anomaly about this Northwest team, they've got 17 players on their roster, 16 of whom suited up for last night's game. All 16 saw the floor. Some of that, of course, in limited time in the fourth quarter once the game had long been decided. But how about that? 16 different players for Northwest got into this game last night. That's probably about a third of the entire Northwest University student body. I kid, of course. Hey, one familiar face you'll see on the sideline, especially if you're a St. Martin's fan. How about Haley Bennett? The former Seattle Pacific standout is now an assistant coach. She graduated off of the Falcons squad last season, and now she's in her first year as an assistant coach. Very nice to see Haley Bennett out here on head coach Ken Crawford's staff. Welcome back to Marcus Pavilion, Haley Bennett. We'll take our final break. When we come back, we'll set the stage with some lineups and a few last-second thoughts between the Saints and the Eagles. This has been the St. Martin's Women's Basketball pregame show on the GNAC Digital Network. And welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion on the campus of St. Martin's University, getting set for day number 2 of this 2-game standoff between the Saints and the Eagles of Northwest. Let's quickly bring you some starting lineups. First for the Eagles. Again, they come in with an overall record of 0-2. In the backcourt, number 3, Livy Lindsay, a 5'9 junior from Redding, California. Number 10, Shalene Lorenz, also in the starting lineup, a 5'10 junior from Seattle. Also in the backcourt, number 14, Maya DeChesney. She's a 5'8 sophomore from Snohomish. Up front for Northwest, number 25, Sam Van Loo. She's that 6'2 junior from Linden that we talked about during the pregame. And number 31, Andy Christenat, the 5'7 senior from Huntington Beach, California, who I'm sure Ken Crawford wants to see get it going early in order to give this Northwest squad a chance. For the Saints, starting lineup looks a little different, as Austin mentioned in the pregame. Number 1, Tierney DeDonis, the 5'6 senior from Cave Creek, Arizona. Joined in the backcourt by number 25, Marin Budeman, the 5'9 junior from Vancouver. And then the front line for the Saints, number 14, Claire Dingus, the 6' junior from Spokane Valley, setting the GNAC ablaze so far this season, averaging about 16 and 10. Mallory Vivola, the 5'11 wing from Anthem, Arizona. And Ryan Clear rounds out the starting lineup, number 22, the 5'10 freshman from Pullman. Christy Martin, now in her 4th season for St. Martin's, making leaps and bounds thus far with this program. So, Austin, we talked about it. Ken Crawford's squad did not have the best showing yesterday. What do they need to do early to kind of try to get the Saints a little bit more disjointed? Saints, again, might be feeling a little full of themselves after coming off that big rout last night. Yeah,
for Northwest, I think it's going to have to be, get the ball into the hands of your best players and get them going early, and that's Van Loo. I mean, she really can score. There's no question about that. And so for me, it's trying break through that press. I think if you're able to counter it quickly, you might force the Saints to go into maybe that 1-3-1 zone. They're going to then force the Saints to adjust to what you're doing. And so for SMU, I think it's the same thing as what it was, last night. Just come out, high intensity. You got Claire Dingus. I mean, it's really not much harder than that. Just get the ball in the hands of Claire Dingus. She's going to make things happen.
Speaking of high intensity, there's no one more intense, perhaps, in all of Northwest College basketball than Claire Dingus. Saints in black. It is Northwest in the road grays. Opening tap rolls out of bounds. Last touched by Northwest. We're underway, sort of. Here on the Twin Star Court inside Marcus Pavilion.
Yeah, something I really like seeing as well is Ryan Clear and Dingus on the floor at the same time. You'll even see Eternity Reed come on. When the Saints have those 3 players, I talked about it last night, they're basically identical copies of each other. Long, athletic, and can play all over the floor.
Northwest comes out in a 2-3 zone, flashing open at the elbow is Ryan Clear. Her jumper a little bit short. And back comes Northwest the other way. Double dribble violation gives it right back to the Saints. So down in the middle of this Northwest zone, of course, that's Sam Van Loo, the 6'2 junior from Linden. Keep an eye on her. She was the story last night, and she has been on a roll, averaging 18.5 points coming in Northwest 2 games so far this year. Clear tries to hand it off inside for Dingus. Her pass a little bit off the mark. Looks like it might have been tipped by a Northwest player, but Saints turn it over. So a bit of a disjointed start to this game. Haven't even seen a shot attempted just yet. Well, I'm going to take that back. We did have the 16-foot miss. Now it's Van Loo with her first look. Gets good position down low. Seals a defender. A quick shot up and over Mallory Vivola. It won't fall. But Vivola whistled going over the back of Van Loo. Foul on the floor, so ball out of bounds to Northwest. Reset the shot clock to 20. Down low for Van Loo again. This time spins to her right. Feathery shot off glass will go, and Northwest with their first lead and a turnover at the defensive end. So the Saints a little sloppy to start this game. Not at all what Christy Martin wanted to see.
No, and Northwest doing exactly what they needed to do. Get the ball in your best offensive players' hands down low, went right to work.
Saints led wire to wire yesterday. This is the first lead that the Eagles have had in these 2 games. Now over the back this time is Shalene Lorenz. After Van Loo was unable to convert at the offensive end. But obviously the game plan early is to get Van Loo going. She's already attempted 3 shots down in the low post. Didadonis clears the timeline. Into the high post now for Eternity Reed, who's checked into the game for St. Martin's. Didadonis tees up a 3. It's a little bit short. Long rebound. Karams all the way out and into the hands of Livy Lindsay. She steers it the other way. And Duchesne will reset things for the Eagles. They flatten things out. Little 1-4 look. And a hand check violation whistled against Marin Budeman.
Well, it's something that the Saints really came out yesterday with high-intensity defense. They're pressuring, the ball handler way out. Sometimes you see teams won't pick them up until they're on that three-point line. Saints have no problems going out 2-3 feet. They want to put the pressure on immediately.
Down low for Van Loo again. Tough pass inside, and the Saints collapse on her, able to knock the pass away. No look down low for Dingus, streaking to the basket, lays it up and in. What a pass from Didadonis as she sets her sights on Dingus, flying in on the break. Dingus powers to the rack, lays it in, absorbs the contact. She'll head to the line for an and one opportunity. So the Saints finally on the board exactly 2 minutes into this game. But that's exactly how you want to kickstart your offensive flow.
Exactly. You just get Claire Dingus running the lane. Now she goes, gets an offensive rebound, what she does better than almost anyone else in the country. It's such a weapon down low in Claire Dingus.
Goes and gets her own miss off the free throw. Now gets the pass down on the low blocks. Tries to set back toward the middle. Her pass knocked away by Kim Whedon, who's fresh in the game. Whedon does come out to set the screen for Fitzgerald, who's also on the deck. Whedon nearly steps back into a 17-footer. Long shot along the baseline, no good. And another loose ball foul whistled down low against Northwest. This one going against Kim Whedon over the back of Claire Dingus. So really choppy start to this game already. 5 fouls in this game. We're about 2.5 minutes into the first quarter.
And I think they're going to actually reverse that call. So instead of going on Northwest, it's going on St. Martin's. So they bring them all back, and it'll now be Eagles ball underneath the basket. So they called it on Claire Dingus.
Whedon's long two won't fall, and it'll just trickle out of bounds.
Well, for the Saints here, this is kind of a 1-1-3 zone for the Eagles. A new look. They didn't really showcase that much last night, and there's Reed going right in.
Dingus on the putback with the lefty. Follow-up, lays it back in, and the Saints now lead it 4-2. Our scoreboard inside Marcus Pavilion reads 4-0, but Northwest does have a couple of points on the board. Duchesne drifts to her right, now dumps it off for Grace Hammond. Up top it comes for Fitzgerald. Van Loo tees up a 16-footer just outside the free throw line, and she ties the game at 4-4. So Van Loo has all 4 of Northwest points. Now along the baseline, Mallory Vavola shot a little short. Reed after it. But Whedon comes down with it. Northwest rotates a lot of players in and out. Already 9 different players used so far in the game's first 3.5 minutes. Down low for Whedon. Dingus with good defense. Van Loo able to recover, and Fitzgerald will try for 3. Leaves it short. Eternity Reed the long rebound for the Saints. Didadonis. No numbers, pulls up at the free throw line. They look down low for Dingus. The cutter is Reed. Now she kicked to the corner of a Vola 3 on the way, no good. Reed the offensive rebound. High off the glass for the putback, and it goes. 6-4 St. Martin's. Eternity Reed, the only player on that side of the basket, gobbles up the rebound, puts it back, gives St. Martin's the lead. Kick ball. We'll reset things for the moment. Ryan Clear makes her way back to the floor. And Janelle Sutterlick checks in for the St. Martin's as well.
And for me, Jeff, Eternity, what she's done this season, she's gotten better and better each game. And she's really starting to find her own her own rhythm on the offensive end. Last night, 12 points, had 8 rebounds as well. You bring those numbers off the bench. That's a huge asset for Christy Martin.
Van Loo, the foot on the three-point line. And another loose ball foul beneath the Northwest basket. That one goes against Livy Lindsay. So 6 fouls in this game in the first 4.5 minutes, 3 apiece. Clear finds Dingus. Now they reverse it into the hands of Eternity Reed in the high post. Down for Dingus. Skips a pass along the baseline. Sutterlick gets her feet set, triggers from 3 and buries it. Janelle Sutterlick with her first look at the basket. And she knocks down a wide open look at a corner 3.
I love seeing that out of Janelle. I talked about it a little bit on the broadcast yesterday. I want to see her have more of that shooter mentality, coming off the bench these last few games. I mean, that gives her a chance to see how the game's unfolding and knows where she wants to pick her spots right when she comes into the game.
Down low for Weed and a tough shot. Able to muscle it up and over Claire Dingus. And the Saints nearly and then do turn it over at their end. So that'll bring us to a stoppage in play. 4:42 remains here in the first quarter. The Saints with a 3-point lead on the GNAC Digital Network.
Every time a student learns something new, makes a discovery, or helps a team, it's not just good for that student, it's good for the whole community. At St. Martin's University, we know the impact a well-prepared graduate can have on the world. That's why last year, we extended more than $15 million in scholarships to our students. Because the more we invest in them, the brighter the future becomes, for all of us.
And welcome back to some non-conference women's basketball action. NCAA Division II, St. Martin's against NAIA Division II Northwest, but a bit of a different script so far to this one. Eagles hanging tough. They're right in this thing early on, of course. 9-6 our score, just as she was yesterday. Claire Dingus getting things going for the Saints with 4 points and 3 rebounds. And Sam Van Loo, of course, getting it rolling for Northwest. She's attempted 5 of the 9 shots taken so far by the Eagles. Both players remain on the floor as we resume action. Here on the near side, this is Lindsay on the drive. Gives it off now into the hands of Caitlin Monton. Picks up her dribble. Now Hammond tries the baseline. Kicks it back outside. Beautiful crossover and drive from Grace Hammond. Everything but the finish. Offensive putback won't go. Couple of players tangled for the ball. They hit the deck. It's Eternity Reed and Caitlin Monson at the bottom of that pile. The jump ball will keep it at the Northwest end. What a move just now from Livy Lindsay. My goodness, just crossed over. Tossed up an 8-foot floater. Didn't fall, but living up to her name of Grace on that one. Tell you what, that was good stuff.
Yeah, she came in the game and had immediate impact yesterday, knocking down 2 threes. I think that's what Crawford's looking for here today out of her as well. Just that immediate shot in the arm on the offensive end.
Fitzgerald works her way back now. Van Loo will try from a spot she just missed from a moment ago. It's a long 2 for Sam Van Loo, but she's already got a half a dozen, and the Saints turn it over in backcourt. So a much different start to this game, and this is probably something Christy Martin was a little bit afraid of. Well, we handled this team with relative ease yesterday. We're going to do the same today. That's just not the case so far through the game's first 6 minutes.
Yeah, and it's the Saints kind of shooting themselves in the foot, in all honesty. They're just turning the ball over. They're being reckless with it. Something that they did a great job yesterday, not turning the ball over really at all. And so, right now I think Christy Martin just looking for trying to get some fire under this team. Right now with a young lineup on the floor as well, I believe only 1 upperclassman.
Well, the Saints forced the turnover, the 5-second inbounds violation into the high post for Dingus. Now down low, it's Emily Nelson with perfect position. Uses her frame and muscles a shot up and in. Saints lead it 11-8. About 3.5 minutes left here in the first quarter. Great offense from the Saints, flashing to the high post and then back down low. Moving the ball very quickly through the set. Unable to handle the pass down low was Monton, and it forces a turnover. Lauren Morris on the floor tonight for the first time. Sutterlicht on the drive, now hands it off for Dingus. Skips it to the corner for Clear. Nelson reverses, Sutterlicht for three. A little strong. And Van Loo the rebound for the Eagles. So the 5 on the floor for the Saints. Sutterlicht defending up top. Dingus, Morris, Nelson, and Clear. Monson handles down low. Pivots, now kicks. Van Loo takes a moment to set her feet. Now fires up a three. It won't fall. Offensive rebound and attempt for Hammond. That won't go either, and back comes Clear with a hard charging lefty dribble. Gets all the way to the rack and lays it in. Ryan Clear takes it coast to coast. Head full of steam. Gets to the rack, and the Saints lead it by 5.
Yeah, having a forward who can grab down a rebound, run the length of the floor. Such a dangerous weapon. Easy foul call there on Sutherland, but Clear, wow. I mean, she's just continuing to impress. And again, I said this last night, she's starting to look a lot like Claire Dingus. Those first few games Claire played in a Saints uniform, that's what reminds me. And, you know, those two stand next to each other on the foul line. I mean, it really does feel like they're kind of, you know, got mirror images on the floor.
Well, this is Grace Hammond at the free throw line. A moment ago, I mistook Livy Lindsay for Grace Hammond. This is how it goes when they have 17 names on the roster, and I'm just now getting familiar with them. So it was Lindsay that had that amazing drive earlier, a few possessions ago. This is Hammond at the free throw line, knocking down the first of 2 free throws. She did do a nice job of driving right past Janelle Sutherland and earned the tough foul. Sutherland hammered her across the arm. She knocks down both, and she'll head to the bench, giving way now for Maya Duchesne back on the floor. Dee Donis back out there as well, into the high post for Dingus. Clear thinks about a three. Her pass intercepted nicely and returned the other way by Morgan Marshall. Her first action tonight. Now Kristen Adt handles. Kristen Adt, remember, scoreless in last night's game after scoring 18 against Seattle Pacific in the first game of the season for Northwest. And now a tough foul called against Morgan Marshall. A good 75 feet from the Saints basket. And that will put the Saints in the bonus. Claire Dingus now on her way to the line to shoot the double bonus.
Yeah, the rhythm of this game much more favoring Northwest. Yesterday it was a up and down, run and gun. I mean, we were talking pregame. I think it was one of the fastest first halves I had ever seen of college basketball. It took felt like 38 minutes, I think, to do a whole 20 minutes of action. This one, a little bit more slowed down, and what that's allowing Northwest to do is it's allowing them to get into their offense. It's allowing them to set their bigs down low so they can get in the right position. You know, credit Northwest. They've done a nice job responding here, but now the Saints are going to go with some pressure. First time we've seen this look, and that's what gave the Eagles a lot of trouble yesterday.
Well, all kinds of trouble getting it across the timeline so far. A desperation heave up the court. And a couple of players collide, Dee Donis and Kristen Act. Nice little moment as they display some solid sportsmanship. Mid-air collision. It'll keep it at the Northwest end. Last touch by Dee Donis. Duchesne to trigger for Northwest. Down low for Van Loo. Make it Kim Whedon with a nice little step through. Shot wouldn't fall. Oh, finger roll from Whedon. Now it's Dee Donis all the way the other way. Tierney, Dee Donis just accelerates to the rack. Lays that up and in, and the Saints with their biggest lead at 17-10. Whedon able to get it into the hands of Goldsberry.
And the tempo it's starting to pick up now, and this is exactly what the Saints wanted to do. This is starting to feed into exactly how they want to play.
This little step back move from Goldsberry, but leaves the shot well short. Dingus to the deck. And she'll be heading back to the free throw line to shoot the double bonus again.
And you're going to see a lot of, I call them hockey substitutions.
I was just going to say, King Crawford is not shy about substituting very liberally, and that's one of the ways he's going to be able to keep his team fresh and going throughout this game, is just to keep sending his players in and out of this game in waves.
Absolutely, and it was something, you know, I kind of like with this COVID scheduling, the back-to-back games against, the same team. You really, that first game you can prep, but that second game is all about responding. And for me, Northwest, I think, did a great job yesterday of keeping their players healthy, going in those 2-3 minute spurts, and then you're off the court trying to maximize effort. And so then you don't really have to worry too much about coming into a second game in less than 24 hours. Your legs should be pretty fresh, ready to go.
Saints with that swarming defense in backcourt. Northwest able to break it. Now Livy Lindsay. Shot deflected by Eternity Reed, but right into the hands of Jenny Goldsberry. Right spot, right place, right time. Lays it up and in. 18-12 Saints. Minute to play here in the first quarter.
Now here's your 2-for-1 opportunity, Jeff.
I'm always preaching. I am a two-for-one evangelist. Reed gets to the rack. Her shot won't fall. Like Grace Hammond was definitely trying to draw a charge, but certainly well within the restricted area. So Eternity Reed will head to the line. It actually works out to a 2-for-1 right here for Northwest at this point.
Very true. I like what St. Martin's has done. They've responded well. I mean, obviously 5 turnovers in the early goings threw them out of their offensive rhythm, but you're still able to throw, as of right now, 18 points. I mean, you got to be pretty happy with how the Saints are still shooting the basketball, even though they were turning over early. They're starting to settle into this game. They're really converting high on the offensive end when they do get that look.
Hammond defended by Didonis and cut off here on the near wing. Back to Fitzgerald. Whedon looks for help. Finds Hammond. Didonis comes out to get her. 10 on the shot clock. Back to Whedon. Pulls up from 17. Looks good, and it is. Look at Kim Whedon just size up a long mid-range jumper. Nails it. Shot clock off for the final 20 seconds of the quarter. But Northwest hanging right in this game. They trailed as 18-14. What is ostensibly the final possession here of the first quarter. Lavola tries to skitter a pass up and over the top of the defense, but it's deflected out of bounds by the active hands of Livy Lindsay. 5.4 seconds left in the frame for the Saints.
The Saints need to get the ball into that high post and then work out there. Look for the 3 from Vola cutting towards that corner, that far corner.
Budeman inbounds to Didonis. Into the high post for Reed. Skips to the corner. 3 on the way. That misses everything, and that'll do it. 18-14 hour score after 10 minutes of play. Look at this. The Northwest Eagles right in this thing. Second half action on the other side of this break. Second. So our first 10 minutes of this game are in the books as we get set for second quarter action between the Saints and Northwest. A quick look at the stats reveals that the Saints are doing a lot of things right. They're shooting 50% from the floor. They're +5 on the glass. Claire Dingus leading the way once again with 7 points and 6 boards. They also committed 5 first quarter turnovers. Northwest shot just 30% in the quarter, yet trails just 18-14 as we're underway here in the second quarter. Dingus along the baseline. Reverse it back over the top of that Northwest zone. Didonis a skip pass. Sets up Budeman. Clear flash is open. Budeman on the drive. Has it taken away from behind by Livy Lindsay. On the leak out, she gets to the rack, lays it in, and the Eagles now within 2. Good heads-up defensive play from Livy Lindsay. She's looked really good. Very sharp play so far in this game.
Yeah, it's really been the Eagles' up-top zone defense. It's cutting off a lot of passes for the Saints, but there's some great interior passing from Dingus to Clear.
Yep, Ryan Clear flashes to the soft spot of that zone. She's all alone for a 4-footer, and the Saints back up by 4 at 20-16. Lou steps back in the lane. Her shot's a little bit strong. She's going to be whistled for another foul. Coming from behind, trying to work her way around Mallory Vavola. That's just her first. Northwest with 7 fouls in the first quarter, but none of them whistled against their best player, Sam Van Loo. But a lot of loose ball fouls. They're just getting a little handsy at the offensive end after the Saints have secured possession. Low Morris looks down low, finds Dingus. Vavola on the drive, spins off the defender, but she's sealed off. Kicks to Dingus. Vavola looking down low for Lauren Morris, who has a defender sealed on the weak side. Her shot a little strong. Dingus's putback is deflected. Now Morris off glass, lays it in.
And there's the Saints' just ability to control the glass. It really set them apart yesterday as well. Here it is again, coming in clutch.
Here's Van Loo going to work on Vavola. Shot won't fall. An offensive rebound for Lindsay. Another putback from Livy Lindsay, who's having a sensational start to her game. Really impressed with a 5'9" junior from California. Vavola, a wide open look at a 3. It's well short. Fitzgerald, the long rebound for the Eagles. Long pass ahead for Lindsay. Gets right around Vavola. Shot won't fall. And Ryan Clear covers up for the Saints, and another loose ball foul beneath their own basket. I can appreciate the aggression, wanting to get the ball back, but Northwest has to cut down on those types of fouls.
Yeah, it'll allow the Saints to just stop the clock and put points on the board later in the quarter. But right now for the Saints, the three-point shooting just hasn't been there tonight, so you know a lot of their looks are going to have to come from the inside of that zone. And that's where Northwest has just been eating them up right now. And, you know, St. Martin's, they're going to have to find a way to adjust and get some inside cuts going to break up this zone.
Maya Duchesne rolls off the screen, now kicks to the corner. Lindsay steps back, now hands it off for Lorenz. Down low for Lou, seals off Reed. Drop step, shot way too strong. Dee Donis the weak side rebound. Crosses it over right to left, now left to right. Looks for for Dingus beneath the basket. She's actually the last to touch it. Bounce pass might have been better suited there. Tried to fit it through a very tight window. And it winds up, the Saints wind up turning it over in transition.
Yeah, Eagles did a good job of putting 3 right in that lane. Tierney did exactly what she was supposed to do, drive to the lane. Northwest just had a better defense.
Eternity Reed, speaking of better defense, blocks the shot of Van Loo, but it winds up with Fitzgerald. She nails the near side 3 from the wing. And it's a 1-point game, 22-21, just under 7 minutes to play here in the first half.
Well, Jeff, it's like I said in the pregame, 40-point win was yesterday. It's 0-0 on the scoreboard to start. And right now, this is even till both sides playing well.
You ain't kidding. Eternity Reed turns it over. Fitzgerald fouled from behind by Claire Dingus. Actually, Reed whistled for the foul. Could have gone on either of them. A little frustration starting to show for St. Martin's. Northwest scored the first bucket of the game. They led it 2-0. Saints have led it since, but Northwest can retake the lead on this possession.
Yeah, and it's such a huge psychological, even though Northwest feels like they have the momentum right now, when you look up at the scoreboard and still see you're trailing, it's one of those where you need to get that lead back to really feel like, you've come all the way. 1 point's great, but you got to get that lead back here.
Well, they set up Kristen F for the 3. What an offensive set. That was a beautifully constructed play by Northwest. You can see it developing right in front of us. Monton worked off the high screen from Whedon, and now Whedon with a steal at the other end. Northwest with the lead and possession.
I can just feel they have the energy right now. Their bench is loud. They're Northwest is playing with some great momentum. If a basket here, I might be looking to call a timeout if I'm Christy Martin, kind of settle the team back down.
Monton drives, spins, kicks. Now Whedon on the drive. Switches left to right for the layup. It won't fall. And back comes Budeman. Sutterlick will reset the offense. Northwest now in a man-to-man defense. Playing most of this game in zone, but they've switched things up, and it's bothering the Saints to this point. Nelson with good position down low. Defense collapses on her, but it's no use. Emily Nelson, unstoppable down in those low blocks. Gets the shoulders square to the basket, lays it up and in, and ties the game.
Yeah, great job by the Saints, seeing the man-to-man, like you said, getting the ball to Emily Nelson. Now here's an opportunity.
Yeah, Deeded Honest with the quick hands forces a turnover. Her runner off glass will fall, and she'll head to the line for the and one. So the Saints cough up the lead, but just like that, they come right back with 4 points in 10 seconds. An opportunity to make it 5 as Deeded Honest will head to the line.
I've always seen T as kind of that spark plug. I mean, when things are maybe starting to get lull for the Saints, she has the ability to just quickly turn the momentum around. And there's an and one. That's exactly what a senior does.
She was the one who got the ball, the hand of the ball. Couldn't tell if that was a shot or a pass from Monton. But Deeded Honest, whatever it was, took it away. Winds up with the ball, goes the distance. It's the and one, and now a long three from Kristinat. Still has yet to attempt a 2-point shot so far this season, but the Saints turn it over in backcourt. Not a good outlet pass for Deeded Honest. Tried to stretch back for it. She's a good athlete, but not good enough to reel that one back in, and it will bring us to a stoppage in play. The Saints lead it by 3, 27-24. The final 4:56 of the first half on the other side of this break.
Opportunity to me means doing the things that will make you a better future. I always dreamed of graduating from college. So being the first one in my family to graduate, it meant everything my parents sacrificed was paying off. Having an athletic scholarship for the University of Mount Olive was key for my success. I had the opportunity to not only get an education, but be able to develop as an individual.
St. Martin shooting 52%, Northwest just 32%, yet it's just a 3-point game, and it will be Northwest basketball coming out of this timeout. Saints also up plenty big on the glass once again. They are +7, 20-13. Claire Dingus with 8 of those rebounds for the Saints. The Saints having a little bit of trouble taking care of the basketball. They've now got 10 turnovers in this game. I believe make it 11. On the errant pass that results in this Northwest possession. We'll see what King Crawford drew up during that timeout. Whedon comes out to the high post to get it. Hands it off for Lindsay. Nice little give and go. Another great set play from Northwest. It's Whedon setting up Lindsay. She gets to the rack, does the rest, and it's back to a 1-point game. Livy Lindsay playing just absolutely stellar basketball here in the first half for Northwest. Deeded Honest squares up a long three-pointer and knocks it down. T with a wide open look at it. And the Saints back to a 4-point lead. Offensive foul on the illegal screen gives it right back to St. Martin's. You know the Saints want to put as much distance as they can between themselves and this very pesky, very game Northwest squad before halftime. 4:15 remains in our first half. Saints lead it by 4. That was the second foul of the game on Kim Whedon, so she takes a seat. Down low for Emily Nelson. Great position defender. Cheated off of her, went for the steal and got burned in the process. Saints now back up by 6. Emily Nelson playing really well around the basket in this game so far.
Yeah, Emily Nelson you know, what she does a great job of when she comes in and starts making baskets, it's almost tough. It's almost impossible to stop her because it just racks up. She can put 8 points up in 4 possessions, no problem. And so she's great asset for the Saints, really starting to learn her game as a sophomore. Where does she fit into the offense? And, again, she doesn't have to be the number 1 or number 2 option, and you kind of forget about her sometimes, and then she's wide open underneath.
Well, she's got good position here. However, nearly loses the ball. Corrals it along the baseline, gets tied up, and the jump ball will give it back to Northwest. So got going a little bit too quickly. I was just about to compliment her great footwork, but that time just took her eye off the ball just for a moment.
Yeah, the good old announcer's jinx. I did one last night on Portee. She turned the ball over right when I talked about how she had 4 assists and no turnovers, so felt pretty bad about that one.
Now, the Saints did a great job of sharing the basketball last night. Northwest has been the team to do it a little bit better this time. And look at Emily Nelson drawing a charge at the other end. She gets up, fired up, feeling pretty good about herself, and she should. That was a great defensive play. Making up for the turnover at the offensive end as well.
Yeah, and the lesson there is don't get down on yourself as a player. You make a turnover or something, shake it off. You know, game of basketball is great because it's just quick pace. You don't have much time to think about that mistake. You know, Emily Nelson just puts it in the back of her mind, makes the play on the other end, helps her team out.
They look down low for Nelson again. That pass a little bit too short. Van Loo knocks it into the hands of a teammate. And another St. Martin's turnover, now up to 13 turnovers here in the first half. Just 14 turnovers in last night's game. Reversed into the hands of Grace Hammond. Finds Van Loo at the top of the key. One dribble and pulls up from 18. Leaves it short. Dingus with good rebound position. Already nearing a double-double. That's her 9th rebound here in the first half. Nelson in transition the other way. Takes the Didonis pass. Can't finish. Gets the rebound. Kicks it out. Back for Suttelick. She'll try for 3. A little bit strong, but Dingus tracks down the rebound. Earns the Saints an extra possession. Back down for Ryan Clear. Her shot blocked by Sam Van Loo, and she's got a quick outlet into the hands of Lindsay.
I couldn't even see who got that first offensive rebound. There's so many gray jerseys in the way. Emily Nelson, that was a hard-fought rebound.
Here's Lindsay. Hawked by Clear. Suttelick goes out to get Hammond. 3 on the way from Lindsay. 2 strong. Suttelick a nice rebound for the Saints. Angles her way around a couple of defenders. Didonis walks into a 3-ball. Got it, Tierney Didonis with another 3, and the Saints with their biggest lead of the game at 35-26. How about Tierney Didonis just walking her way up the floor, nonchalantly tees up the 3 and crushes it.
Yeah, she's come alive and leading the Saints and scoring 11 points for her. You know, again, spark plug. She just comes in and makes everything happen.
Van Loo was all alone beneath the basket for a moment. They couldn't get it to her. And now Grace Hammond steps out of bounds along the baseline. So this is a very dangerous time of the game right now for Northwest. They've stayed right within shouting, not even just shouting distance. They've been right neck and neck with St. Martin's throughout this game, but now they find themselves trailing by as many points as they have all day. And the Saints, with all the momentum and a 9-point lead, possession of the ball, and we're at a minute and a half to play here in the first half. Budeman handles. Back up top now, down low for Dingus. Tries to work her way between 2 defenders. Off-balance shot won't fall. And Hammond steers it the other way for Northwest. Lindsay tries to pass it to the high post, but it's knocked away by Vivola. Races to the timeline, gathers it, hands it off for Budeman. Great defensive play for Mallory Vivola. They look for Dingus down low, and she's pushed in the back by Sam Van Loo. That's her 2nd foul. With just over a minute to play here, the Saints' defensive effort has really been ratcheted up quite a bit on these last several possessions. Just suffocating defense, starting to force more turnovers, tougher passes. And Northwest now the team that's not taking good enough care of the basketball.
Yeah, what I love right there to see is Mallory Vivola is an absolute scorer. One of the best 3-point shooters in the country. And even though she hasn't gotten in the scoring ledger tonight, you know, she's still helping the team in other ways. Great defensive play right out there. You know, and again, it's keeping the pressure on Northwest, you know, really. And, you know, here's a prime example. They're actually going to keep the pressure on here. So thank you, Christy Martin, for making me look very smart right there. You know, but Saints, again, last minute, you got to finish this half, though.
Well, Van Loo is off the court for the final minute. King Crawford does not want her picking up her 3rd foul. Able to break pressure. This is Grace Hammond. Walks her way into a wide open look at a 9-foot jumper. And Lindsay gets a little handsy in the backcourt. And that'll send Sutterlick back to the free throw line.
And there's another foul all the way across the court. And now points for the Saints, or opportunity for points, I should say. But when you send Janelle Sutterlick to the line, more times than not, you walk away with 2. Well, what a response from the Saints, too. I mean, Northwest really had the momentum, up by 2 after that big 3-pointer. You know, and the Saints didn't panic. They keep within themselves. They get back to their brand of basketball. And now, double-digit lead. If they can have one more defensive stop, they'll have a double-digit lead going into halftime.
Into the high post. This is Whedon. Turns on her defenders. Sutterlick with a near steal. Winds up with Fitzgerald. Her 3 a little bit long, but an offensive rebound and a second chance for the Eagles, courtesy of Hammond. Long 3 from Kristenat. That won't fall. Sutterlick on the quick look run out. Kicks to the corner. Rivola for 3. Oh, doesn't go, but Eternity Reed, an offensive rebound. Her shot high off the glass won't fall, and Northwest can hold for the final possession of the half. 11-point game. On the drive, this is Elise Fitzgerald getting all the way to the 10. She will head to the line. Couldn't get the shot to fall.
That's a tough break for Budeman. She had been playing great defense out there at the top of that point, putting a lot of pressure on the ball handler.
This potentially sets up the Saints now with the final shot of the half. Fitzgerald good on the first of 2.
I think you have to watch for Vivola or Sutterlick to get this shot.
Reed gets it to Sutterlick. Races across the timeline. Kicks over to Vivola. Will get off a 3 at the buzzer. Just a little bit short. But the Saints extended the lead in the closing moments here of the first half. And it sits at 9 as we head to the break. 39-30 our score. Northwest, a very different looking team today. They trailed by 23 at the break yesterday. It's a single-digit lead for the Saints. So we will take an extended break, not before we have a quick homecoming announcement. Mr. Austin Burns, what do you have for us?
Well, Jeff, even though we didn't get to have homecoming last weekend and the snow really played a factor in that one, we get to announce our homecoming court, a St. Martin's tradition here. So we'll throw it to Student Life to announce the 2021 Homecoming Court King and Queen.
Happy homecoming! My name is Iwan and I'm a CAP event coordinator.
And my name is Ashley and I'm your CAP lead. So it is tradition here at St. Martin's to nominate a king and queen for homecoming, but this year we decided to twist it up a little bit. Instead of having a king and queen, we decided to nominate a homecoming royalty and a homecoming court. So that is what we're doing here today.
This year's homecoming court was filled with students who embody a true state. You're nominated! And you voted! And they are...
Gabriela Cintron, Gain Hernandez.
China Pascual, Jessica Andres.
And last but certainly not least, Jansen J. DeQual.
And now, the homecoming royalties are, drumroll please, Jessica Andres and Jansen J. DeQual.
And be sure to come out of the top to come claim your prize and sashes. And best of luck to our Lady Saints this weekend.
Woo! It's a good day to get Saint. Thanks everyone.
And welcome in for a very abbreviated St. Martin's women's halftime show. Just like the season, we'll just have an abbreviated halftime show. 39-30 our score. Just one player in double figures so far in this game. That's Tierney DeDonis, who really caught fire in the closing moments of the second quarter. Worked her way all the way up to 11 points on 4 of 5 shooting, knocked down a couple of late threes in that second quarter. Claire Dingus well on her way. It's just a matter of time, really, until she gets to yet another double-double. She's got 10 boards already. 9 points in the first half to go along with a team-high 4 assists as well. A few other Saints got into the scoring column. 7 Saints in all scoring. They shoot 44% from the floor in the first half, 25% from three, and out-rebound Northwest 29-18. For the Eagles, they shot 31% from the floor. Team-high 6 points from Sam Liu and Livy Lindsay. Lindsay with 6 points, 4 steals, and 3 rebounds in the first half. She really looked very, very good for Northwest. They also shot 2 of 11, 18% from 3, connected on all 4 of their free throws. They did a better job taking care of the basketball, however. 12 turnovers for St. Martin's, just 7 in the first half for Northwest. That's a big part of why Northwest, instead of being down 23 at halftime as they were yesterday, trail by 9 at 39-30 as we get set for second half action.
Yeah, for the Saints, I think you have to be very happy with how the second half ended. You really started to get into your flow, your rhythm of the game that you want to be in to control. And if you're Northwest, you're only down by 9, and your best offensive player in Van Loo, she was 3 of 11 from the floor. You expect her to be better than that in the second half and really give you a chance to get back into this one.
First St. Martin's possession of the second half does not yield points as Ryan Clear shot a little bit too strong. Tough pass down low, makes its way into the hands of Van Loo. Triple teamed beneath the basket, and another loose ball foul beneath Northwest's own basket. As we know, King Crawford is a yeller, and that's going to have him yelling if they continue to commit those types of fouls. King Crawford is a noisy coach, but he is a really, really nice guy. I've met him several times calling games over for Evergreen, and he is such a nice fella. His demeanor during games is nothing like what he is in moments of a more sort of quiet reflection. He's a very, very nice guy. So please, for those of you who might be a little bit scared off by King Crawford's yelling on the sidelines because it's so quiet in here, you can probably hear him through our microphones. He is a great guy, a great coach. And it's really good to see that his program has unpaused basketball activities here for 2021.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to get to interact with a lot of different people before the game. And obviously yesterday we started the game a little bit late due to always lovely I-5 traffic, right? And, he couldn't have been more apologetic, and he wanted to just get the game started, got his team ready to go. So, again, he's a very nice guy. Really nice working with him these last 2 days.
DeDonis, ball above her head. Finds Dingus. Now they pick it back for Clear. No one comes out to get her, so she'll trigger for 3 and knock it down. Ryan Clear had a day and a half to think about knocking down that shot. She does exactly that, and it gives the Saints their biggest lead of the game at 42-30. Just a total breakdown from Northwest on D.
Yeah, and that's a shot. If Clear starts connecting on that consistently, man, Saints got the best 1-2 punch, in my opinion, in terms of scoring with Dingus and Clear in the GNAC when we come back full strength next year.
Little high-low look. Van Loo's pass just a little bit too tough for Lorenz to handle down low, but it's last touch by the Saints, so keep it at the Northwest end with 11 seconds on the shot clock. Saints now lead it by 12. Lorenz goes out to get it. Now it's to Chesney. Crosses over. Sealed off nicely by Sutherland. Kicks outside. 3 on the way is good as the shot clock expires. Andy Kristenhout has attempted 5 shots in this game, all of them from deep. So that's 17 shots on the season for her, all of them from beyond the three-point arc. She connects there, and it's back down to single digits. Clear. After the overplay by Northwest, could have cost him as Lindsay tried for the steal. Clear pulled up, wide open looking at 8-footer in the paint, won't fall. Ball winds up going out of bounds and will stay with St. Martin's.
Well, Chris, that's their second big 3 here of the game. First one gave her team the lead. This one, right as the Saints are starting to pull away. So, again, coming up with some big-time threes. That one also late in the shot clock. I think 0, when that ball went in.
At the Saints, that's Ryan Clear, who popped free, flash open in the paint. Nice little move, got around Van Loo. And drew the foul on her way to the paint, on her way to the rack, rather. That's the 4th foul now on Shalene Lorenz, so she takes a seat. Already 3 fouls whistled against Northwest here in the 3rd quarter. Clear's first free throw, rattles around and falls. Ryan Clear had a spectacular game just last night. 20 points in the game. Really starting to find herself. She's going to be a special player. Just a freshman from Pullman. She's a hard-nosed, gritty player who can do a lot of things for this team. Gets the steal here. Bats it into backcourt. She'll take it the other way. Lay it up and in. And the Saints now lead it by a baker's dozen at 46-33. 5 straight points from Ryan Clear.
It's shades of yesterday when she took over the game late and just nothing Northwest could do to stop her. Ryan Clear starting to get into that zone again. Now here's another takeaway. Saints defense stepping up as well. This team's really starting to take over.
Adonis in the corner. Tracks down the pass. Finds Vivola. She drives. Tries to step around the defender. Winds up taking the extra step in the process. Ryan Clear just taking over the game here in the last few moments. 46-33 our score. Clear now in double figures for the 2nd consecutive game. And give her 11 points now to go along with Adonis, who's also got 11.
And this is a lineup I love to see for the Saints. When Reed, Clear, and Dingus are all on the floor and they play this 1-3-1 zone, I think this is the Saints' best look. I'd love to know the analytics on it and see their efficiency, but I think this is their best.
Well, Dingus forces the turnover at the top of that 1-3-1. Saints with numbers the other way. Sutterlick gets it back to Dingus. And now the Saints starting to put some distance between themselves and the Eagles. 15-point deficit is the largest of the afternoon for Northwest thus far. 6:45 to play in the 3rd. And the Saints lead it 48-33.
Opportunity to me means doing the things that will make you a better future. I always dreamed of graduating from college. So being the first one in my family to graduate, it meant everything my parents sacrificed was paying off. Having an athletic scholarship for the University of Mount Olive was key for my success. I had the opportunity to not only get an education, but be able to develop as an individual.
(48-33) our score. 3 minutes and 15 seconds into the second half, and the Saints really starting to apply some serious pressure to Northwest. It's a tale of different styles in this game as well. The Saints have really only gone about 7 deep in this game. Meanwhile, Northwest has played 13 different players in this game already. So King Crawford doing what he has to do in order to keep his team in this thing. He's keeping his players fresh, rotating them in and out. No one has played more than 17 minutes in this game. Conversely, for the Saints, about 6 different players have played that amount of minutes. Northwest basketball as we return to action. Another steal at the top of that 1-3-1. Austin, it is paying dividends. Clear the other way, leaves it short. Ball batted around for a moment, winds up with Sutterlick. She'll reset things for the Saints. But back-to-back steals for Dingus at the top of that 1-3-1.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking one of the best rebounders in the country and putting her at the top. You know, it's a risk, but at the same time, it pays off because she's so good in intercepting those passes. As Clears banks in, man, everything's going well for the Saints right now.
My goodness gracious, with the shot clock going off, Ryan Clear banks in a miracle 3. And it's an 18-point lead for St. Martin's.
And going back to this zone defense, they play those 3 forwards right in the line down the heart of that zone, and it allows them to bounce side to side real quickly. But right there, that's how you beat that zone. A quick corner 3. It's going to force the Saints to come out quicker.
Yeah, that one out of the hand of Grace Hammond. And it stems the tide for the moment. A high-low look. Dingus able to reel it in, sets her feet, hands it off to Reed, diving to the rack. Dingus's putback won't fall, and the ball wrestled away and taken the other way by Duchesne. Crosses the timeline. No numbers, no look, kick to the corner, and Hammond will try for three again. That one just caroms off the front of the ring. It looked good when she let it go. Long rebound comes out to Whedon. Fitzgerald bounces a pass back to Duchesne. She drives, pulls up from 8 feet, triggers from there, rattles around, won't fall. Whedon with the rebound, lefty scoop shot. Nice little finger roll from Kim Whedon. And the lead now back to 13 at 51-38, under 5 to play here in the third quarter.
Saints starting to pull away. Northwest punches right back, 5 straight points. Good response from the Eagles.
Sutterlicht, nothing doing. Gives it back to Eternity Reed. Now clear flashes in the high post. Good ball movement from the Saints. Sets up Dee Donis for three. What a possession from St. Martin's. They just work the ball around from point to point to point, just crisscrossing the floor until finally Dee Donis is set up all alone for the three, and she pays it off. What great offense for St. Martin's.
Yeah, Sutherland had a great shot. No one would have faulted her for taking it, but she opts for the even better shot. That's a senior-level play from a sophomore.
Look at this deep three. That one from the Twin Star logo in front of Coach Crawford. Fitzgerald could not knock it down. Dee Donis pulls up in traffic from 13. Off the back iron. Reed the rebound. Bounces a pass down low for Dingus. Steps around the defender, goes glass it in. And Claire Dingus making it look easy. That was just kind of child's play right there for Claire Dingus. And Ken Crawford needs a timeout. His players, the ones he has on the floor anyway, look a little gassed. So 56-38 our score. So punch and counter punch. Northwest with a quick 5 points burst. And St. Martin's comes right back with 5 of their own, and they lead it by 18 with 3:54 to play in the third. And welcome back inside. Marcus Billion, it's Jeff Lucero alongside Austin Burns. And the Saints have become sort of a three-headed hydra here in the second half. Dee Donis, Ryan Clear, and Dingus now combining for 41 points in this game. Dingus now with career 15 double-double. She's got 13 points, 12 rebounds, and also a team-high 5 assists in this game. So Dingus, once again, filling out the stat sheet nicely.
Yeah, I think she's going to be well on her way to a third GNAC Player of the Week award. Just something I didn't know when I was doing my research preparing for this week was Claire had never won a GNAC Player of the Week award until this year.
Insane.
Isn't that amazing?
Clear from 15. Won't fall. Dingus after it. Able to keep it alive for the Saints. Great hustle play from Dingus. Earns an extra possession. Now down low. It's Reed by herself. Clear flashes open. And she does the rest. Credit Eternity Reed for finding Ryan Clear diving to the basket. And Ryan Clear continues to just dazzle this weekend. She's playing so well, the best basketball by far of her young St. Martin's career. Down low, it's back to Goldsberry. She's fouled by Clear on her way to the basket. Her little 4-foot leaner would not fall, but she'll head to the line for a pair of shots. So let's go back to your point about the defense. And the 1-3-1, because that has been a huge element of why, and you see that this is still the same squad basically that's on the floor. When you pointed it out, you said, this is my favorite defensive rotation for the Saints. It's paid a lot of dividends so far in this quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. And something I was starting to talk about is not many coaches would be wanting to put one of the best rebounders in the country at the top, but what Claire does so well at the top is she can just intercept. She has so much length. Her motor is 150%, 100% of the time. I mean, and so she's able to get her hands on those balls that 99% of players can't. She disrupts a lot of the flow. And then even if you are able to get past Claire at the front of that zone, you're now dealing with that 3 line, and then you have a player like Eternity Reed or maybe Emily Nelson down low. There's a lot to go through. You have to burn so much energy just trying to get into the zone to start, and that's why I really like this zone. I think it really favors how this Saints team is built.
Well, Emily Nelson does come back onto the floor, so we'll see if the Saints stay in the 1-3-1 at the defensive end. For now, though, it will be Saints basketball, so we'll have to wait just a moment to see what sort of defensive look Chrissy Martin chooses to go with Eternity Reed off the floor, and Nelson back on. Clear, finds the cutter along the baseline. It's Dingus, she can't finish, but she'll head back to the line. Let's also talk for a moment about the play Claire Dingus just made. It's an 18-point game. Claire Dingus beat 3 different Northwest players to the ball, got on the deck as she is wont to do, earned the extra possession, and it wound up in points for the Saints. That is the kind of thing. That's why she is likely, if there hadn't been a GNAC Player of the Year award this year, it's plays like that. That's why she would get my vote.
Absolutely, and for me, looking big picture, you look on this team, there's a lot of underclassmen. And so the role model for them is watching a player, their star player, not taking a possession off. It sets such a great standard and tone for this program. You know, there's a lot of things Claire does on the floor, obviously, in the stat sheet that you know, you want her to be the superstar when you're putting up 20 points and 10 rebounds a game, but it's also her motor. And you look down the bench and you go, you know, that's the standard we want for all 15 of our players, you know, year in and year out, is to play like Claire Dingus. You play like that, you become very hard to beat.
Saints foul gives it back to Northwest. Lindsay gets it back. They work it down low into the hands of Jenny Goldsberry. She gets free and drops one in off the glass. 60-41 our score. 2.5 to play here in the third quarter. Gina Donis walks it up the court. Met between the circles by Livy Lindsay. Into the high post now. Dingus turns on her defender. Kicks it to Clear. Now back across for Dingus. She'll try for 3. Leaves it a little bit short. Nelson after the rebound. It's batted into the hands of Kristen Atten. She'll bring it the other way for Northwest. Into the corner for Fitzgerald. Looking down low. Goldsberry just lost her footing. And now it's Dingus on the run out. Gets to the rack. Everyone was just sort of like looking at Goldsberry. She's able to get back to her feet. Dingus scores the basket. The referees are going to come together and talk things over it.
Yeah, I think it was just Goldsberry just lost her footing. I think she might have hit a, wet spot on the floor and slipped, unfortunately. But, lucky to see she gets right up, not injured at all. I mean, I think that's why everybody stopped to look, because I could hear we could hear that was a hard hit onto the floor all the way up here.
Yep. Heads up play for St. Martin's as Dingus just kept running the floor. The whistle never blew. The Saints just kept playing. And Dingus finishes at the other end all by her lonesome. 62-41 now our score. Getting our first look of the day at Emma Reed, who's fresh on the floor for the Saints. She got some burn yesterday. Played a season-high 13 minutes for St. Martin's. She comes over, gets some last-minute instructions from head coach Christy Martin. So the 5 on the deck for the Saints. Dita Donis, Dingus, Nelson, Ryan Clear, and Emma Reed. Couple players flash to the high post. Reed thinks about a 3. No look pass down low for Nelson, but it's batted away by the quick hands of Kristadat. He brings it up here. Finds Monton in the high post. Now Lindsay turns it over. Dita Donis crossing over, right to left to right, gets to the rack. Nice defensive play from Elise Fitzgerald. Earns the jump ball, which will give it back to Northwest. So Dita Donis thought she had a perhaps easier trip to the paint, but lying in wait was Fitzgerald. She wrestles the ball into a jump, and Dingus will take a seat. She'll get a blow, spelled by Janelle Sutherland back on the floor.
Yeah, something that really impressed me about Northwest yesterday, they didn't take a possession off. They played 100% energy all 40 minutes despite being down by 40 at the end. You know, and this is a team that has gone through a gauntlet of a schedule. Seattle U twice, Portland, Seattle Pacific, and now St. Martin's twice. That has not been easy. They haven't played in their weight class yet. You know, they're really taking on some tough competition. So, you know, credit this team. They do not quit, and that goes to the coaching staff installing that into them of we're never going to quit in a basketball game.
Grace Hammond, credit her for that last drive. That was good-looking stuff. Nelson with some trouble under the basket, able to find clear. She is falling out of bounds and bounces the ball off the leg of Caitlin Phillips. So stay with St. Martin's, 28 on the shot clock. And about 38 seconds left here in the third quarter. Saints lead it by 19. Trying to sort out the shot clock. So it's actually going to be moved down to 18 on the shot clock. Clear looks to inbound, finds Sutterlick, but it's knocked away by Grace Hammond here on the near side. Some shooting numbers are tailing off a little bit. They're at 45% after shooting 50% in the first half. Had a pretty efficient half of basketball at the offensive end, but the shooting numbers just aren't there. They're playing perhaps their most inspired basketball of the day in the third. Reed fouled from behind by Caitlin Phillips. I guess we need to clarify which Reed, as we've got both Reeds on the floor for St. Martin's right now. They're spelled different, but pronounced the same. Good to see Emma and Eternity Reed on the floor at the same time for St. Martin's. It's Eternity Reed now at the free throw line, and she connects on the first of two.
And even though Reed, you know, scoring has not been the same as last night. I mean, look at the rest of that, you know, score sheet. 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, a steal. I mean, man, talk about doing everything. You know, and that's what I love about Reed coming off the bench. You know, and I think she's got a very bright future for the Saints. You know, again, a do everything, you know, kind of player that you're able to bring off the bench. Man, I'm scared. And there it is. There's the takeaway right on cue.
It away. The swarming backcourt defense. Just absolutely wrestled away by Eternity Reed. Couldn't finish, but will head right back to the line where she only moments ago knocked down 2 shots.
Yeah, I think if you're a Saints fan, you know, honestly, Jeff, one of the things, one of the positives out of this COVID, we get a year back. You get another year of Claire Dingus. You have, you know, the freshmen, Clear and Reed. It's going to be a fun group to watch for another 2 years. This is just bonus basketball for us right now.
That's a great point. Everyone getting basically a waiver year. This season does not affect anyone's eligibility at all. So, of course, some players will maybe opt to move on. They'll graduate from college and want to go out into the working world or what have you. But any NCAA player playing this season has the opportunity to come back without losing any eligibility. Able to break pressure. Shot clock is off. Long 3 on the way. From the corner, no good from Hammond. Keep it with Northwest, and 11 8/10 seconds showing on the third quarter clock.
Oh, and this is the teachable moments here for the Saints, even though up by 23. Good defense now, a transition opportunity.
Clear, able to finish in transition, takes the bounce pass from Janelle Sutterlick, lays it in. And the Saints really starting to run away with this thing, 68-43. This was a very different game to the first, call it 17 minutes. The Saints built a little bit of momentum, not a lot, but some, just enough anyway, to put just enough daylight between themselves and Northwest. As we reach the end of the third quarter, the Saints with their biggest lead of the afternoon at 69-43. 30 minutes gone, 10 minutes yet to play. Come right back for fourth quarter action. And welcome back in for the final 10 minutes of regulation anyway between these two teams. They tangled last night. It was St. Martin's jumping out to the very early advantage on their way to a 94-55 victory. Things starting to trend in that direction again here. Saints with a 26-point lead as we get underway here in the fourth frame. Suttlewick handles for the moment, hands it off for Eternity Reed, looking down low for Ryan Clear with good position. Gets her feet set, turns. Nice little feathery touch on that shot, but it won't fall.
Yeah, now for the Saints here in these final 10 minutes. Now you get to try some new things on the floor, some different lineups. Yep. You know, some of the younger underclassmen and takeaway here for the Eagles.
What a strip from Livy Lindsay. The Saints had just stolen it away, but Lindsay takes it right back, just picked the pocket clean of Ryan Clear. Livy Lindsay really playing a nice ball game for this Northwest squad tonight. She's a really, really talented, very smart player as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of bright spots on this team for Northwest. I'll be interested to follow them when they go down into the Cascade and play out some NAIA games. I think they're going to do really well down there at that level.
Eternity Reed tries for three. That one no good. Good box out down low. Allows Shalene Lorenz to gobble up the rebound on the weak side. Saints with a youngish team on the floor right now. A lot of new faces to this program out on the floor. Sort of like the only, and well, Emma Reed as well, the only other returning player on the floor for the Saints right now. We haven't heard from Sam Van Loo pretty much at all here in the second half. Her shot there won't fall. It's been tough sledding for her tonight. She's now just 3 for 12 from the floor. She was held scoreless in the third quarter. Didn't see much of her out there. And I go to her now that she is back on the floor. Came in tonight averaging 18.5 points per game. She's good on the first of 2 free throws. Dingus back on the floor for the Saints. Kind of starting to wonder whether we'd even see Dingus for the fourth quarter, but there she is out there. It's tough to keep her off the floor. I'm sure she's constantly just sort of glancing over at Christy Martin saying, hey, when do you want me? It's just going to be, that's how it's going to go with a fierce competitor like Dingus. Back on the floor now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm kind of looking at the bench where Dingus sits and, you know, one of the furthest seats away from Christy Martin. I think it's, and there it is. Claire Dingus comes on the floor in another basket. You know, Claire, if she could sit right next to the bench because she just want to be able to hop right back on the floor. She doesn't want to have to run all that way.
Off balance shot, and she's fouled, but she's just too strong. Able to muscle a shot up and in, and Claire Dingus. Now with 19 points, give her 20 on the game to go along with 13 boards and 5 assists. She leads the team in all 3 of those statistical categories. And the Saints now lead at 72-47 with about 8 minutes left in our game.
Yeah, one of the things that's really improved for her this game, her free throw shooting. It's been kind of a weak spot for her this season. 8 for 10 at the line tonight.
Another rebound for Claire there. Give her 14 in the game. Quick outlet to Dee Honest. Nearly pulls up for a moment. Thought she might have even turned it over. Able to keep from palming the basketball. Now it's Budeman on the drive. She's fouled from behind. I don't know if that was a shooting foul or not. It looks like it will be. So Maren Budeman, a quiet night after lighting it up in yesterday's game. Remember, 4 3-pointers from her in the second quarter yesterday. Really helped extend that Saints lead. It was all Claire Dingus in the first quarter, but then Budeman just really started flowing in that second frame. 4 threes in the quarter.
Yeah, and I love her style of game. She just puts her head down. She works hard. Again, a Division I transfer out of Cal BAP. They were D2 a couple years ago, went up to D1. You know, and she's done a great job coming in, I think, fitting into the culture of this team very quickly. Sometimes transfers, it takes them, especially in COVID, and you can't really meet like you normally would and establish those team bonds. You know, she's done a great job just stepping right into this team and you know, not forcing the team to slow down to catch up for her. She just hopped right on the train and they took off.
Hammond on the drive, dribbles it off her foot. It goes out of bounds. Saints now with a 27-point lead and possession of the basketball. Dee Honest races into the front court. Clear, wide open look at a 7-footer, walks into the floater and buries it. 76-47, and Austin Northwest isn't careful. They're going to lose this game by 39 again.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan.
Man, things are just not going well for them at all.
No, Ryan Clear, and credit the Saints. They're getting their looks that they want. They're getting the basket down low and deep. Ryan Clear is just picking them apart in the middle of that zone, and here she is for three.
Teed it on us with a sweet crossover to set it up. It just rattles out, and Van Loo the rebound. Lindsay the other way, looking down low for Whedon. She's got good position, but Clear able to push her out. Whedon has to come all the way out to the three-point line to get the pass. They'll reset things. A look down low for Van Loo. Between two defenders. She's fouled on the floor. So the Saints have just kind of done their thing here. They were very patient. They kind of had to wait out their own struggles and carelessness with the basketball in the first half. Remember, they turned it over 12, maybe 13 times in the first half. They had just 14 turnovers in yesterday's game all told. Nearly that many in the first half alone tonight. But they've just leaned on Northwest, just worn them down. Despite the fact that Northwest brings so many players onto the floor, St. Martin's has just worn them down completely. Morgan Marshall with no position. That is the first two-point shot attempt of the season for Andy Christenat, and it goes. So after 18, maybe 19 consecutive threes to start the season, Christenat gets free in the paint and knocks home her first and only two-point look of the season so far. Dingus rolling from the weak side, back on the floor, nearly smashes her head on the deck. Kind of did. She grabs at her face, hopes she's okay. She's right back up and at it.
Yeah, you don't want star player. You don't want anyone, obviously, at any time. Claire Dingus on the floor now, though, with a 25-point lead and 5 minutes left to go. Maybe want to see if you can't get some minutes for some other players on the bench.
Teed it on us, crosses over. Instead resets for Sutherland. Claire Dingus has her defender sealed off down low. Goes to work on Van Loo. Lays it up and in. Another absolutely spectacular performance today from Claire Dingus.
Yeah, I feel bad that there can't be a co-player of the week because Clear and Dingus, would be right there. But, I mean, Dingus, her numbers are just, you look at them and you go, it's like someone's playing, NBA 2K20 out there. And
well, she's got another rebound. Give her 16 and 5 fresh bodies wait at the scorer's table. So the 5 on the floor will come off for the Saints at a moment. Dingus will try for 3. It rattles home! Oh, my goodness, that one sat on the rim for what felt like a minute and a half before falling through. Everything falling for Claire Dingus here in the second half especially. She's got 25 points and 16 rebounds now. My goodness, she's put up numbers like that a couple of times already this year.
Well, and remember, if you go back to the first few games for Claire, she was doing a lot on the defensive end, especially rebounding, but her offensive numbers just weren't there. But in the last 3-4 weeks, it's really clicked for her offensively, and we're starting to see that side of her game just take over. And again, I mean, can't harp on it enough. She would definitely be in the running, if not the favorite, for the GNAC Player of the Year if there was one this year.
Well, that jump ball brings us to a stoppage and play. Saints now taking it home. They lead at 81-53. Rejoin us on the other side of this break for the final 4:14 of this contest between the Saints and the Eagles.
Every time a student learns something new, makes a discovery, or helps a team, it's not just good for that student, it's good for the whole community. At St. Martin's University, we know the impact a well-prepared graduate can have on the world. That's why last year, we extended more than $15 million in scholarships to our students. Because the more we invest in them, the brighter the future becomes for all of us.
Well, Jeff, this isn't the only Saints action happening here today. It was an action-packed day. Men were on the road in Nampa, unfortunately falling to the Nighthawks, the number 13 ranked team in the country, by 20 points. But we want to give a quick shout-out to number 0 for the Saints, Alex Schumacher, his birthday today. There we go. What a tear he had been on coming into this week. And then on the diamond, it's weird to say that with snow still outside, but Saints softball back on in action. They took down Pacific in their first game 10-3 and currently up 2-0 midway through the 4th inning. They're starting their season off strong as well.
5 fresh bodies on the floor for the Saints as we are back underway. Emily Nelson, Loeb Morris, Mallory Vavola, Eternity Reed, and Emma Reed on the floor for the Saints. Vavola wrestles away the rebound. It rolls off her hands out of bounds. It'll stay with Northwest. 3:35 to play, and the Saints lead it by 26. It wasn't always the case. If you're only just now tuning in, you missed Northwest putting up one heck of a fight in the first half of this game. They were neck and neck. They had leads at various moments throughout the first half. They were short-lived, but leads all the same. Eternity Reed earns another steal. Bounces a pass ahead. Vavola in transition, lays it up and in. So Reed give her another steal and another assist. And Austin, you talked about it earlier. She does a lot of things well for this team, and you saw it on display right there. The defensive play at one end and the helper at the offensive end.
Yeah, and she just gets better and better each game in all facets. I mean, again, it's going to be scary to see what she can do over the course of 4 more years in a Saints uniform. She could be a very special player for Christy Martin and these fans to watch. I can't wait to have people back in this stadium. You know, imagine tonight's game with a packed house. Would have been a lot of fun. Still is fun, but, you know, always much better when you got 1,000 screaming fans in here, right?
We certainly miss seeing folks in here. It's nice to have the cardboard cutouts. Those are fun to glance over at and see there, but there's just no substitute for actual human beings in these seats and filling up Marcus Pavilion with a whole mess of noise. It's always great as well to be able to interact with the parents and other family members of the players here of the program. Miss seeing their faces in here as well. It's great knowing that they're tuning into the broadcast to watch their loved ones duke it out here inside Marcus Pavilion. Certainly cannot wait for you guys to come back someday. We miss you a whole bunch. Nelson with good defense. Lowe Morris after it. 2:40 to play. Saints lead it by 28. Shot clock winding down. Caitlin Phillips on the drive. Takes the extra step. And that one won't show up in the stat sheet, Austin, but Eternity Reed with another fine defensive play forcing the turnover at that end. And I can guarantee you that an analytics guy like Jared Stottlemyre over on the bench, assistant coach for the Saints, that's something he's very much keeping track of for sure. You were talking about analytics before. Well, he is our analytics guy, Jared Stottlemyre. None better and brighter at that end of the game in this conference.
Yeah, and he came over from one of the premier programs. He was at University of Washington before he came here. You know, did a lot of their scouting and advanced work. You know, Christy Martin talks about him all the time as, you know, the best assistant she's ever had in her career. You know, Jared, credit him. You know, he came in last year, Saints winning record. He had a lot, you know, helped out a lot in that. And again, this team really connecting around. And I think you're seeing it's the work of this coaching staff, the hours they put in and day out to get this team ready. You know, it's fun to watch. It really is.
And we're seeing Leah Sopak on the floor for the first time in today's game. She got into yesterday's game as well. Leah Sopak, product of Orinda, California. And also checking in for the Saints is Leia Curry. So every Saint has now stepped onto the court here this afternoon. Great if we can get some Leia Curious or Leah Sopak points into the ledger before time winds down. About 2 minutes left to play. Reed crosses over but dribbles right into the extra defender. Nearly turns it over. The jump ball will keep it at the Saints end with 18 seconds on the shot clock.
And there you go. Less than 2 minutes left. Nearly a 30-point game, and Northwest still fighting. You got to love to see that out of this team. No matter what the score is, they're going to treat it like it's 0-0, you know, tied game going into the final minutes.
Reed on the drive. Eternity Reed, that is. Pass deflected, but right into the hands of Emma Reed. Curious for a moment. Now it's Lauren Morris. Hesitates, now accelerates, gets to the rack. Off-balance shot won't fall along the baseline. And a rebound for Northwest. And Phillips may have traveled with the basketball, but refs letting that one go as just 1 minute and 25 seconds remain in this game. Emma Reed with the hand check. The Saints aren't done yet with their season, by the way. They've still got 2-game series against both Western Washington and Central Washington. Those will be home and home. 1 game in Bellingham, 1 right back here. Same with the Central set. 1 game in Ellensburg, 1 game here. I believe next weekend it's Western, with
Yes.
Central the weekend after that. Is that correct?
Correct.
All
and,
right.
and that was a good thing. We were able to officially announce the Western game just earlier this week. And we had a lot of good news on, the one salt and the wound on Thursday was the announcement of one Simon Frazier unable to compete due to border constraints and unable to travel down here, so they won't be competing in any of their spring sports, and also no spectators allowed at even outdoor events as well. So that's something to keep in mind. You'll have to watch on the Saints Digital Network on YouTube for free. But everybody else opted in. We're still going with a track, a golf, baseball, softball conference schedules and championships, so very happy to see that news come out on Thursday. A lot of news came out. There's a release on GNACsports.com that details all of it. But we're excited. We got next week. We got softball and baseball here at home in St. Martin, so it'll be good to be able to get those sports. It's been nearly a year since we've seen those teams play here in this campus.
How about the pass from Leah Curious to set up Emma Reed? She tried to work her way between 2 defenders. Wound up drawing a lot of contact. Heads to the line, splits a pair, but that pass from Leia Curious was really nice. Under a minute to play. This one all but over. But Northwest, pesky, scrappy team. They've got some pieces. Nice move from Emily Strojan as she works her way around the defender. And look at the bench just roar to life. It's a 25-point game, 36 seconds left in this thing, and they're just thrilled for Emma Strojan. A nice move, able to slip around the defender and earn the and-one opportunity. Free throw won't fall, and another rebound for Eternity Reed. See if we can get a shot set up for Leah Sopak or Leah Curious, perhaps. Reed crosses over, gets into the paint, collapsed on by a couple extra defenders. Off-balance shot won't fall, but Eternity Reed will head to the line. Eternity Reed's had a fantastic game. We talked about it a lot. She's played 26 minutes tonight. 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals in this game. A lot of things well. Played some great defense. A couple of blocks mixed in as well.
Yeah, if this was a hockey game and you can do the 3 stars of the game, Reed would definitely be in that mix for me. What a job she did coming off the bench once again for Christy Martin.
Shot clock off for the final 20 seconds of our game. Long 3 from Marshall. Bounce high in the air. Rebound comes down to Molly Oswald. Now Curious with it. Gets it into the hands of Lauren Morris, and the Saints will likely just dribble things out from here. 84-59, our final score. Both teams with valiant efforts today, but the Saints just wearing down Northwest. Just a withering attack in the second half. And they're able to pull away and earn a 25-point victory. We'll come right back. We've got a few things to talk over on the other side of this break. The St. Martin's Women's Basketball postgame show coming up in just a moment. So 84 to 59 our score. The second of 2 games between St. Martin's and Northwest is officially in the books. The Saints winning both games. First last night by a score of 94 to 55, and then this afternoon by a final score of 84 to 59. 3 Saints players winding up in double figures. Claire Tingus once again leads the way. 25 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, and a team high 32 minutes as well. 21 more points for Ryan Clear after she scored her career high 20 yesterday. She beats that by a point in just 23 minutes of play, so another stellar performance from Ryan Clear. Tierney did not only Saints player in double figures, 14 points on a very economical 5 of 7 shooting from the floor. Saints out-rebound Northwest 47 to 35. They shoot it 46% from the floor, 37% from 3, and 75% at the foul line. Saints doing a much better job taking care of the basketball in the second half. Just 7 second-half turnovers compared to 12 in the first half. For Northwest, 2 players in double figures. Hammond finishes with 11. Van Loo finishes with 10. But she was largely shut down in the second half of this game by the Saints. Those 10 points are by far a season low for her in those 3 games for Northwest. So a lot to be happy with if you're Christy Martin. Obviously, there's still some areas of improvement, some things they got to tighten up here and there, especially as they get set to play a couple GNAC foes over the next couple of weekends in Western Washington and then Central Washington.
Yeah, for me, credit Northwest. They did a good job of coming out with a game plan to force some disruption for the Saints. The Saints turned the ball over. Northwest took that first punch that the Saints threw and then came right back, took the lead even, and then St. Martin settled in and they got the tempo back up to where they wanted it. Northwest had dropped the tempo down. They were playing a slower style. St. Martin's gets out, and then they're able to run away with the game. And again, young players really shining. Ryan Clear, Eternity Reed. This team's got a bright future ahead of them and 2 good wins, but now you got 4 games against 2 quality opponents, I should say, to close out the year. It'll be interesting to see how the Saints respond to that test.
And it bears repeating. This is free basketball for all of these athletes. They don't lose any eligibility. This is just more reps for them. This is just more time together, more chemistry, and more team-building sort of exercises, really, in a lot of ways. Of course, the games count, and you want to win them all. You want to go out there and compete as hard as you can. But we talk about how young this team is, and with everyone coming back next year with the same amount of eligibility that they have right this very moment, that's a huge deal for Christy Martin as she is continuing to sort of tinker with roles, tinker with defensive strategy, tinker with the starting lineup. We've seen a new lineup come out on the floor each of the last 2 nights. So it's just been so much fun to sort of watch her figure out like what knobs to turn in order to find just the right sense of cohesion and flow at both ends of the floor for this team.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the beauties of being able to schedule games like this is it allows you to experiment, try some new things, find what's working. Again, I love that 1-3-1 zone with Reed, Clear, and Dingus on the floor. Love to see the analytics and the breakdown on that to see if that's their best defense. I think it is, and it resulted in two turnovers immediately when they went to that look. So, again, you get to play around, you get to try some new things and see what works, what doesn't, and now you get film and breakdown and practice for a few days before you take on the Vikings.
Well, that's just about going to do it for us. We will be back on the air this Friday when the St. Martin's women's team welcomes Western Washington inside Marcus Pavilion. So great that program has been able to unpause basketball activities. We're really, really thrilled that the Vikings will be down here to take on the Saints for a game on Friday night. They'll, of course, turn around and play again Saturday night up in Bellingham. But, yes, please join myself and Austin for Friday night's game. That game tips off at 6 p.m. next Friday. So until then, go and have yourselves a wonderful rest of your weekend. We will be right back on the air here on the Saints YouTube channel in about 6 days' time. Western Washington against St. Martin's, Friday, 6 p.m. Pre-game show. Tune us in. Right around 5:45, we'll get things rolling with that game. Until then, folks, have a great weekend. On behalf of Austin Burns and everyone in the St. Martin's Athletic Department, this is Jeff Lucero signing off for now. We'll see you on Friday. Good night.